And this one had us all by shock last week when we heard about 1997 and Chauncey Billups. He was asked about the 97 sexual assault allegations, and this is what he had to say.
I first want to talk about a little bit what Neil talked about, and that's the incident that happened in 1997. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about how every decision that we make could have a profound impact on a person's life. I learned at a very young age as a player, and not only a player, but a young man, a young adult, that every decision has consequences, and that's led to some really, really healthy but tough conversations that I've had to have with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time in 1997, and my daughters about what actually happened and about what they may have to read about me in the news and in the media. But this experience has shaped my life in so many different ways. My decision making, obviously, who I allow to be in my life, the friendships and the relationships that I have, and how I go about them. It's impacted every decision that I make. It really has. And it shaped me in some unbelievable ways. So, I know how important it is, really to have the right support system around you, in particular during tough, difficult times. And it's something that I've tried to instill in all of the players that I've played with over the course of my career, just sharing some of my experiences and things, and maybe it will help them, down the road at some point. But
there is a lot to unpackage in that statement. I mean, that's a minute and 20 seconds of Chauncey, and I didn't really hear a denial in that statement.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I didn't really like the statement that much. It made me want to dig more. It was kind of like, I know it was only so much he could really say about it, but that statement was a lot of nothing to me.
See, I took a lot out of that statement, honestly. Like, the way I interpreted what he was saying is that shit went down, he was there, and it was more to do with the people surrounding him, and he got rolled into it just because maybe he didn't stop it, but he knew about it. And that's my interpretation. I do not know if that is fact, so nobody write this down and take this and run with it. But when I was listening to him talking about, hey, it's about how I reevaluate who's around me, how I act, the decisions that I make, and that could be, dude opened the door, saw some shit, closed the door, walked away.
And that's honestly, that's what and that's the thing that was kind of confusing, because Antoine Walker, that's exactly what he settled for years later after the 97. He settled out of the civil suit with the victim because he didn't do anything to stop it. So I'm still kind of curious of what Ron Mercer and Chauncey Billups' role was if Antoine Walker was the one who settled like they did, because he didn't do anything about it.
And I mean, when you watch it too, I mean, the way he says, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and then my daughters, you could tell obviously it's a regret. No matter what it was, I'll never forgive anybody for any sexual abuse. I don't know what this was, but I could appreciate the fact that he's working through it.
Yeah.
He's got his girlfriend then, now his wife and his daughters, and saying, hey, this is going to be something that you're going to read about in the news. And I can only imagine how hard it is on the family. But it's just crazy to hear about something in 2021 from 97 as brand new news.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not brand new news to his wife. Obviously, she was with him through that time and stayed with him through that time, so that shows the power of their relationship and, how they can work through anything, because I don't know too many women who would stay with a dude if he was, accused of sexually assaulting somebody on the side. But this story is just, it's going to keep unraveling.
Oh, yeah.
Because now that now that Pandora's box is open, we're going to start hearing more and more about it, and people are going to want to know more and more about it. But that statement by Chauncey Billups, when I saw it, I was just like, oof, man, that was not a hard denial. That was not a, hey, I did nothing wrong. That was kind of a soft admission to, I fucked up. I didn't do what I should have done as a man, and I learned from it, but at the same time, I wish I didn't need that lesson.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Soft admission to some type of guilt.
Yes. So Yeah, Chauncey, I mean, I still love Chauncey and everything he brought here, but like it's crazy that in 04, 7 years beyond that, when he's winning a championship and is the MVP of the finals, that
top of the top of the top of all time.
And I get social media wasn't around then, cancel culture wasn't as big back
but
then,
there
but this isn't a cancel
media journalisms.
I went on Facebook because after we talked about it, I went on Facebook and I asked people on my timeline had they heard about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't know, but there were some people that like, yeah, I did know about it when they brought it up when he went to the Trailblazers, the Timberwolves.
Okay.
That was brought up. Some people did know about it, so it's just like,
why was it then?
Do you think that's part of the reason the Celtics got rid of him?
It could be. You never know.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. He did end up leaving there and going right to the Timberwolves.
Yeah, because you don't spend a number 3 overall pick on a guy and then just send him away for chips, and that's kind of what happened with Chauncey. Like Rick Pitino got rid of him so early in his career.
So
you thought it was something wrong with his game when clearly, time played out that it had nothing to do with his game. So maybe they were just like,
let's
keep this quiet.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of this headache right now while we can, brush it under the rug and whatnot. Because let me see, it happened in '97. Yeah,
that's when he was drafted.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about this. This is the year he drafted.
Right.
Also, too, you know what I found interesting, and me and a couple of my friends were talking about this. How in the world it's kind of weird how ESPN was breaking this story and something sort of like that, but he was hired at ESPN. Like, didn't they do their vetting and know about this? And just kind of found it weird that they're breaking a story on a guy they probably, if that was a big issue for them, why did they hire him?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. This whole situation is weird because if you were to line up all the Detroit Pistons of all time and be like, name the guy that has sexual assault that you don't know about, Chauncey would be last on my list by far.
Literally. I mean, that's the thing, too. It goes back to what we mentioned yesterday about this whole thing is you know people, but you don't fully know people. And
right.
Chauncey would not be that person that you could look at and say, oh, yeah, this is the guy that did that. But
yeah. Well, he's openly talking about it now. I like that he's not running from it, at least, and he's not saying no comment or, due to courts, I can't comment on this or anything. He's addressing it. He's saying he fucked up. He's saying that he's a better person for it. He's teaching his daughters. He had to deal with it with his wife. I don't ever want to have that conversation with my daughters or my wife if I ever have daughters. Like, I couldn't imagine being like, hey, yeah, Dad was accused of raping a girl because I was negligent back in the day. Like, dude,
but at the end of the day,
that's got to be an impossibly hard conversation.
At the end of the day, though, human beings make mistakes, and you got to move past them. So, I mean, you look at his girlfriend and what she fought through to get that, and then obviously now for the family and the girls that they raise.
Yeah, so we'll keep you up to date on all the things Chauncey Billups, obviously, local Detroit legend, so we got to follow this. And, yeah, thank you for putting that in your news, Joey.